DJU at Florida State. I love DJU the person, right? I think he's a really good leader. I think he wants to obviously do everything he can to win and to make himself as good as possible. I just don't feel like he's a natural thrower of the football. I think he is Joe Milton with a little bit of a weaker arm. That's just, the nuance isn't there to me, man. He can't make the routine throws routine.
You could not be more correct on your assessment. And I've said, going back to that first year with him as a starter at Clemson, even going back to that first game against Georgia, he's just innately inaccurate.
Yeah.
And you can't be innately inaccurate and be successful consistently at the quarterback position. You talk about making the routine plays routinely. But I'll tell you the other thing he can't do. He can't do things off platform. He can't change arm angles, right? He's even more inaccurate when you flush him from the pocket. And so through Clemson, through Oregon State, and now what we will see this fall, don't we already know what he is?
For sure.
Like we know exactly what you're going to get. He's going to airmail throws over open guys. Then he's going to make a really pretty throw to the outside on the comeback. Then he's going to miss the standing still wide open hit. He's going to bounce it in the ground. And then he'll make a couple of plays here and there, and then he'll revert right back to missing guys on routine throws. That's what he is. I'm sorry.
Tom, we had this same me and you and us here all last offseason had the same conversation about Joe Milton. And yet, you still have people in the offseason, Joe Milton's going to win the Heisman. Joe Milton's going to be the SEC. At some point, when you show me who you are, I'm going to believe you. That's not saying people can't change. That's not saying people can't get better. But at the end of the day, after 4 years of watching you miss wide open guys and make the same mistakes over and over again, it's hard to put that new. What did Mike Leach say? If I'm having to teach you how to be accurate at this point, you're just not going to be accurate.
So if you guys had to pick one of those two guys, who would you pick? Joe Milton or DJ Uiagalelei to start your team? I would pick DJ Uiagalelei because I've at least seen like the 5 touchdown performance against Wake 2 seasons ago, like games like that.
Well, again, they both.
I've seen DJ U actually layer a football.
Yeah, can we triple option?
You have to take one.
I would probably side with Joe Milton because he does have some God-given ability, I think, that supersedes DJ's God-given ability, and maybe not by much. So if I'm going to be wrong or we're going to miss, I want to miss looking pretty, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I feel...
I was on the sideline. Josh Heupel's first year, second week of the season, Tennessee playing host to Pitt, right? And we had that broadcast, and Joe Milton, we'd seen what he had become at Michigan, so we kind of knew what the sample size was. I knew going into that game, this guy's going to spread the ball all over the place. It's going to look like a fire hose. Yeah. He didn't make it past the first quarter till Josh Heupel yanked him, put in Hendon Hooker, and the rest is history. Now, why did he yank him? Not because he wasn't necessarily playing bad. He was missing wide open people for touchdowns, not covered guys for touchdowns, wide open guys for touchdowns. And if you're going to consistently do that, which he does, and if you can consistently be inaccurate like DJ is, then like you say, you keep showing me what you are, sooner or later, I'm going to believe you.
Yeah, permission to make a baseball comparison here?
Please.
I would take Joe Milton for this reason. Because, yes, he is, and again, I'm not saying this isn't the best of case scenario. All right, these are the two quarterbacks I have to pick them. At least with Joe Milton, I know that defensive coordinator has told that secondary, for the love of God, nobody can get, there is not far enough where you don't have to worry about the deep ball. Like, it's almost like facing a guy that he throws 103 and his off speed is awful, But just the fact that he throws 103 makes you have to worry about it. Therefore, it makes the off speed a little bit better. That would be the reason that I chose Joe Milton, just because of the fear that this dude can legitimately throw it 90 yards. So when I say we're running man free and I tell you free safety, you get your ass in the sky, that means you get in the sky and you're deeper than the deepest. I don't care if he runs into the next county, which should open up some things underneath, including in the run game, I think, a little bit.
Listen, I get irked sometimes, and David, you played it. I played the position. I coached it for almost 11 years. I get so irked when people continually talk about arm strength.
I agree.
Arm strength, arm strength, arm strength, arm strength. Quarterback play is about two things, two very simple things: accuracy and decision-making, period. If I have a quarterback that's 6 foot and 195 pounds, who consistently makes the right decision, is decisive in doing so, has the aptitude to process, and puts the ball where it's supposed to be when it's supposed to be there, I don't care about the 6'5", 235-pound guy that can throw the ball 80 yards. I don't. And you will never convince me to either.
I agree. I'll take Kellen Moore all day. I'll take Kellen Moore all day.
There's a back-to-back Super Bowl champion in the NFL right now who's beaten a lot of guys who have stronger arms than he does.
Very true.
Yeah.
Hello, YouTube. It's me, once again, your fearless sports media friend, Jay Crane. Hit that subscribe button, because if not, maybe you really are as lame as what they called you in high school.